Yesterday, Rassie Erasmus came out and said that he's looking at a possible change in captaincy for the Springboks, going from Siya Kolisi to someone else. Now, there's a couple reasons for this. If you want the full story, you can go and watch yesterday's video, but I will give you a quick recap. So Siya Kolisi was named captain by Rassie Erasmus in 2018. He then led South Africa to a 2019 and 2023 World Cup win, as well as a British and Irish Lions win. Siya Kolisi is probably one of the best captains that South African rugby has ever produced. But now he's getting a bit old. He's 32 and he's made his move to Racing 92 overseas. Both Rassie Erasmus and South African rugby have stated that they prefer a locally based player, someone who plays their rugby within South Africa, so that they can have more direct contact with Rassie Erasmus and the coaching staff, which does make a lot of sense. Well, this is quite a sad day and sad announcement that Siya Kolisi might have to be stepping down, and it wouldn't surprise me if they start trying to phase Siya Kolisi out of the Springboks before the 2027 World Cup. The thing is that Siya says that he does want to play in the 2027 World Cup if his body will allow him to try and win 3 in a row. So with that said, if I was Rassie Erasmus, who would I be looking at to be the next Springbok captain? Well, I think there's quite a lot of things to consider. Obviously, we know that Rassie Erasmus only cares about winning World Cups, which is great for South Africa, which is why we've won 2 in a row. But he needs to pick a captain that is going to win him that 2027 World Cup. So I think that there might be a couple of captaincy changes within the next 4 years, because he might look short-term, medium-term, and long-term. I'm going to give you a couple of options for that short-term, medium-term, long-term, and then maybe some up-and-comers and some long shots that you maybe wouldn't have thought of. So for short-term captaincy, they could look at someone like Bongi Mbonambe. Yes, he's 33, but he did fill in for Siya Kolisi in the group stages of the World Cup when he wasn't playing. Do I think that Bongi is going to captain South Africa? Probably not, because he is 33. By the time the 2027 World Cup rolls around, he will be 37, and I don't think he'll be playing in that side. So it doesn't make much sense for Rassie to elect him captain. He might as well just stick with Siya Kolisi. Then someone for the sort of medium term, maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe he could even make it all the way to the 2027 World Cup, is someone like Irben Etzebeth. Now, he is getting older, but I do think he could still be around by the 2027 World Cup. He has captained South Africa on 13 different occasions, and we know how influential he is in that South African jersey. He is that upfront big character that takes on the team and would be a good sort of figurehead for Springbok rugby, a good face for the captaincy. He's built like an ox, he plays like an ox, and I do think he could potentially be captain in 2027 if his body can hold up till then. Then we've got the up-and-comers category. Now, back in the day when Nick Mallet was still Springbok coach and Rassie Erasmus was playing for him, they elected Corne Krige when he was 24 years old to captain the Springboks. So maybe Rassie Erasmus might be a little bit inspired by that and choose someone who is a lot younger, maybe not as experienced in a Springbok uniform, but could do the job. Now, a couple of these up-and-comers that he could select is someone like Ulrich Louw from the Bulls, who is an absolute incredible loose forward. Yes, he doesn't have that experience in the Springbok jersey, but if they are to select a very young captain that's in the forward pack that could potentially be molded into a very, very good captain for the 2027 and potentially even the 2031 World Cup, then maybe Ulrich Louw is the man for the job. You got to think back of what Rassie Erasmus did with Siya Kolisi. He elected him in 2018, pretty young, in his mid-20s, and then Siya Kolisi led South Africa for 6 to 7 years as captain. So I don't think Rassie is going to be thinking too short-term here. He wants a captain that could potentially do a 6 to 10 year stint, so he might go for someone quite young. Another couple of those players are someone like Ruan Nokia, who also plays for the Bulls. Great leadership. He's definitely an up-and-coming lock within South Africa. And then another lock that he could potentially go for is Salman Murat, who plays his rugby for the Stormers. Again, a big figure, good leadership qualities, also quite young. Yes, maybe doesn't have the experience in the Springbok top, but Rassie Erasmus is a thinker. He plays bold. He puts all his chips on the table when he makes decisions. So we could see someone like that that take over if he was inspired by what Nick Mallet did with Corne Kriya. And then my final category is some outside bets. Now, all of these players, the three I'm going to name, come from the Stormers. Now, the one I mentioned in yesterday's video is Damian Willemse, who has all the experience in the world. He's only 25. He won the 2019 World Cup and the 2023 World Cup. So he's got the experience of 2 World Cups behind him. He knows how to win World Cups. Yes, maybe he is a bit erratic. Maybe he's sort of got this playboy persona within South Africa. But if you're looking at someone who puts their heart on the line when they play rugby, someone who can speak well in front of the camera, and someone who's going to perform day in and day out, it is a player like Damian Willemse. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Damian Willemse, but I truly think that might be the play for Rassie Erasmus. Now, a couple other guys that play alongside Damian Willemse in the Stormers is someone like Ivan Roos, who is an up-and-coming number 8 for South Africa. Yes, he has a couple of discipline problems, but he is that aggressive forward character. Maybe not as cool, calm, and collected as Siya Kolisi, but he does give that impact when he steps on the pitch. And then someone who I think is an absolute wild long shot is Sasha Mgumazulu, who plays for the Stormers. He made the alignment camp recently. He's sort of a utility back. He's very, very young. I think he's 20 or 21. While he might not be ready now, he might be ready in 2 or 3 years. So there's a lot of options for Rassie Erasmus to pick from. Does he go for the very experienced Bongi Mbonambe for the short term, or does he stick with Siya Kolisi? Does he go for Eben Etzebeth, who has proved that he can captain South Africa on 13 different occasions? Does he go for an up-and-comer in the forward pack like a Ruan Nokia, an Ulrich Loh, or a Salmon Murat? Or does he go very, very risky? Does he play the extreme long game for a captain to be there for maybe the next 2 World Cups? Does he go for a Damian Willemse, Sasha Mgumazulu, or even an Ivan Roos? I wouldn't think he would go for Ivan Roos. I think my favorite pick out of all of those is Damian Willemse. Yes, I know he's a bit erratic. Yes, he has that playboy character, but he has the experience. When he steps on that field, he owns the pitch. And I think the captaincy would look good on him. As always, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Who should take over from Siya Kolisi? Make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.